Okay, let's jump right into this. We've got a really unique stack of source material today. It's like eavesdropping on dozens of micro conversations.
Yeah, exactly. Tiny little snippets of daily life captured right in the moment.
It's kind of amazing.
Think of it as like raw data on the human condition, filtered through chat. Everything from figuring out what toothpaste to buy, navigating office weirdness,
Oh, yeah.
trying not to burn down the kitchen,
Oh, it's a good goal.
to planning, epic parties
Yeah.
and dealing with the relentless march of time and traffic. Definitely traffic.
It's fascinating because it strips away the big pronouncements, doesn't it? It gets right to the everyday reality.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to, well, unpack these quick chats, these fleeting exchanges, and see what universal truths or maybe surprising patterns emerge from the simple fact of people just, talking about their lives.
We're pulling threads from the mundane, really, to try and understand the complex tapestry of human interaction, aspirations, challenges, all that stuff.
Exactly. It's like browsing through countless little windows into other people's days, looking for those moments that make you lean in and think, I totally get that feeling.
Right.
Or maybe, wait, that happened.
Oh, definitely some of those, too. So where do we begin this exploration of the everyday?
Well, how about the most basic building blocks? Errands, shopping, the small decisions that fill our time.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Daily life and errands.
All right, let's unpack this. We see people talking about shopping, and the range is huge, right? From the completely routine to the deeply personal. First up, something significant. Someone buying a ring. They're clearly thinking of their girlfriend. Maybe even an engagement ring. Asking for recommendations.
Yeah, and what's striking here is that blend, isn't it? The deep emotion wanting to make her the happiest person mixed with the really practical transaction stuff.
Totally.
It's all about love, but then immediately it's about quality. We only sell quality products and how it looks. It's quite beautiful. It just shows that even these huge emotional moments are grounded in like choosing things, trusting the seller.
Yeah.
A big step framed by a totally standard consumer interaction.
And shifting gears, but still in the gift zone, cosmetics. Someone's got a birthday headache, trying to figure out what to get their girlfriend.
Ah, the classic dilemma.
Totally. And the go-to advice, cosmetics. Lipsticks, masks, eyeliner, mascara, eyeshadow, foundation. The whole list.
It really highlights that perennial challenge of gift giving, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How you find something personal, but, also something will probably work.
Yeah.
Cosmetics kind of pop up as this common, maybe slightly overwhelming solution.
Yeah.
And that observation, girls use a lot of cosmetics. It's not just a statement. It sounds like a genuine realization for someone maybe not so familiar with that world.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff.
And the person giving the advice is apparently very knowledgeable because they buy them for their own girlfriend.
Which suggests that, navigating relationships often means you have to get fluent in your partner's interests, even if they're totally not your own.
It definitely shows how personal relationships drive economic activity in unexpected ways.
For sure.
Speaking of quick consumer needs, we've got this snippet about a grocery store run. Just needing toothpaste, specifically peppermint, please.
The precision there is interesting, isn't it? Not just any toothpaste, a specific preference, and the transaction's quick, a set price, $43. Seems straightforward.
But then there's that little unexpected perk.
Yeah.
They get a toothbrush for free because of some campaign.
Exactly. That little bonus. It's a reminder that even the most mundane errands can have these tiny moments of surprise or, a small win.
Little bit of luck.
Yeah, these little freebies, they add a tiny bit of positive friction to the routine of just buying necessities and needing shampoo, even specifying a brand like Dove.
Right, for their dog.
Yeah, it implies routine purchases often involve these established habits or household preferences.
Yeah.
Someone uses Dove.
So true. From thoughtful gifts to just grabbing essentials, shopping is just constant.
Always something.
Which brings us to something maybe even more overwhelming. A wardrobe that is full with clothes they haven't even seen.
The universal problem of just stuff accumulating.
Totally.
And the immediate practical response just pops up. What to do with them.
And the options are pretty clear. Give them away or reselling them for a cheaper price. And the modern solution offered is to sell things online.
Which really shows how our daily struggles with clutter are now just completely intertwined with technology, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Decluttering isn't just chucking things out. It's become this potential side hustle, this activity that might get you a bit of cash back. all thanks to online
Oh,
platforms.
yeah.
It's a modern twist on an age-old problem.
From clothes to appliances, things wear out. There's a snippet about a broken fridge. That simple, frustrated question, why doesn't our fridge work?
You can almost hear the sigh.
Totally. And the immediate assumption, I think it's too old.
That's the core decision point for household stuff, isn't it? Repair or replace. And age is usually the first suspect.
The decision seems pretty swift here. Buy a new one.
No messing around.
And where do they head? An electronics store at a discount. Practicality meets frugality. Need the thing, but also want a good deal.
It's a perfect snapshot of practical problem solving under, a bit of pressure. Something essential breaks, messes up your routine.
Yep.
And the response is a targeted purchase driven by need and, importantly, cost.
Okay, now moving from personal disruption to that widespread systemic frustration, traffic jams.
Ugh. Traffic.
Someone was late because she had a traffic jam, was stuck in the road. Another person feels this deeply, saying they usually get traffic jams when I come home and can't stand this feeling, calling it but a total waste a lot of time.
Oh, this resonates so much because traffic isn't just an inconvenience, is it? It feels like a daily theft of your time, your agency. That feeling of being stuck isn't just physical, it's psychological. It robs you of control over your schedule, adds so much stress, it turns a simple commute into this major emotional burden.
And what's the suggested alternative in one chat? A bike.
Right.
A bike is more convenient because cycling can go into small roads and avoid traffic jams during rush hour.
This highlights that adaptation, seeking control where you can find it. When the standard system cars and traffic fails you, people look for agile alternatives.
Yeah.
A bike offers a different kind of efficiency, right? It bypasses the main clogged arteries, even if it means maybe less speed or distance capability.
Creating one set of limits for another.
Exactly, just to gain back that precious time and that feeling of actually moving forward.
From the big frustration of traffic to the small, immediate panic of losing something, we hear someone searching, "What are you looking for? My watch. I took it off while washing dishes. Now it's gone."
Oh, that mini heart attack moment.
Yeah. Later, keys are found under my table.
These are the micro dramas of daily life, aren't they? That sudden spike of adrenaline when something essential just vanishes. It's completely universal, the momentary chaos when your personal system gets disrupted.
In the resolution. Often hilariously anticlimactic. The watch, after turning the room upside down for nothing,
Where was it?
was simply in their pocket the whole time.
Size. Of course it was. It perfectly illustrates how much stress can be generated by just simple forgetfulness or misplacement. The intensity of the search versus the sheer simplicity of the discovery. That's a common pattern in these little daily stresses.
Okay, that covers the necessary, sometimes frustrating parts of the day. Let's shift gears. Let's talk about where people inject joy and passion. Hobbies, interests, and just plain fun.
Good idea. The stuff people choose to do.
And we have a fantastic character study to start with. Mary. Apparently, Mary enjoys cooking. It sounds lovely,
That
right?
is promising.
Last time she cooked, it was a disaster.
Oh. This speaks volumes about the reality of pursuing a passion, doesn't it? Enthusiasm is one thing. Execution is, well, sometimes something else entirely.
Definitely.
Hobbies are often messy. They involve learning by doing, and sometimes doing it very, very wrong.
Oh, it gets better. They remember the soup incident. Details unspecified, but the result was the kitchen was a mess.
Soup incident. Sounds ominous.
But thankfully she's learned since then, and apparently no more soup explosions.
Okay, progress. That evolution is key. Her story isn't just about failure, it's about perseverance, right? Despite the literal messes, she kept at it.
Uh-huh.
And there's progress. She made a delicious cake yesterday. That highlights the reward of a hobby isn't always perfection, but the process of getting better, and those occasional successes.
But wait. The source mentions she once tried to make pasta without water.
Sorry, what? Without water?
That's what it says. I'm genuinely baffled. How?
That is.
Wow.
That's a special kind of culinary misadventure, sort of defies basic kitchen logic. And the outcome, we were pizza instead. That's classic adaptation under pressure. When your cooking attempt is so fundamentally flawed, it's basically inedible.
You pivot.
You pivot hard to ordering in.
It's labeled Classic Mary, always full of surprises in the kitchen. And the follow-up is gold.
Someone asks about her progress, hoping no firemen involved.
A reasonable concern, given the history.
And the response is, I'll make sure she has a fire extinguisher, and maybe I'll bring some snacks just in case.
Slight chuckle. This whole Mary saga is just a perfect encapsulation of the humor and chaos that hobbies can bring, especially cooking. It underscores that shared experience, even of disaster, builds connection and gives you great stories later.
Really?
The value isn't just the food, if it ever materializes. It's the shared adventure, fire extinguishers, and emergency snacks included.
Absolutely. It makes you appreciate the effort and maybe, yeah, order the pizza preemptively just to be safe.
Probably wise. Moving from individual culinary adventures to broader aspirations, we hear about people starting a new hobby, often tied to the new year, that feeling of new year, new
Ah,
beginnings.
yes, the annual surge of self-improvement goals.
Ideas range from going to learn guitar and trying yoga because they need to relax more to learning to cook, hopefully not like Mary, and even deciding to dye my hair blue.
This cluster of aspirations really reflects that human desire for self-improvement and exploration, doesn't it? Often catalyzed by symbolic fresh starts like the new year.
Mm.
And it shows how hobbies can be driven by such varied motives.
Yeah.
Creativity, guitar, cooking, hair dye, well-being, yoga, or sometimes just trying something completely different just because.
And we see glimpses of established interests, too. Someone likes reading detective stories, really enjoys trying to solve the mystery.
That puzzle aspect.
Yeah, though someone else finds them too puzzling and definitely prefers romance novels.
Which just points to the fundamental diversity in how people find pleasure and engagement through narrative, right? Some want that intellectual challenge to figuring it out.
Yeah.
Others want emotional connection, escape. It highlights that leisure is just deeply personal and varied. There's no one right way to relax.
We also learn about a mom who likes gardening, meticulously watering roses and tulips every morning and afternoon.
Gardening often represents a different kind of engagement, maybe a slower pace, nurturing living things, that connection to nature and tangible seasonal beauty.
Yeah, it sounds peaceful.
And the routine of watering every morning and afternoon speaks to dedication, doesn't it?
Mm.
Maybe even a meditative aspect to the hobby. Sharing the results, like inviting someone to see the pink roses, that turns it social too.
And for a hobby that's inherently social, there's a conversation about joining a music band. A spot opened up because the guitarist has to change school.
Ah, opportunity knocks.
The person being asked can play guitar and says being part of a band is their dream.
Oh, that beautifully illustrates how hobbies can fulfill these deep personal aspirations and also provide a pathway to community. Music, especially playing in a band, is so collaborative.
Definitely.
It's not just about individual skill. You even say, I only know a bit, have to practice more. It's about that shared passion and finding your place in a collective creative effort. The welcome to our band moment is really nice.
Beyond structured hobbies, there's just plain fun in games. We hear about a planned game day for outdoor soccer and baseball
It's not fun.
being canceled due to the weather.
Ah, the classic spoiler. Nature intervenes and the plan's off the table.
So they pivot to indoor games, chess and tug of war.
Which shows flexibility and resourcefulness, right?
Yeah.
When the ideal isn't possible, you make do with what's available. And that juxtaposition is great chess, pure strategy,
Right.
and tug of war, pure physical force. Highlights the variety even within indoor games.
Or wanting to play a board game, but they lost the dice last time.
Always the dice.
So now they're looking for a new game online because there's nothing else to do today.
Another moment of minor inconvenience leading to exploration. A tiny missing piece derails the plan, prompts a search for something totally new. It turns potential boredom into an opportunity for discovery held along by the internet.
And sometimes the simplest indoor fun is just watching TV. Someone wants to stay at home to watch my favorite PV program.
Can relate.
It's called Running Man, described as a reality show and very funny.
Television is still such a powerful source of relaxation and sometimes shared experience.
Mm.
Choosing a specific show, especially one called Very Funny, is about seeking that lighthearted escapism.
And inviting someone to watch it with me turns passive viewing into a bit of a social event.
Exactly. Shared laughter.
Let's talk about companions who bring a unique kind of joy. And sometimes, maybe chaos. Pets.
Ah, yes. The animal kingdom.
We have some really memorable pet stories here. First, the goldfish that apparently turned into a superhero fish and swam away to save the ocean.
Smiling. Okay, that's pure anthropomorphism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Attributing these grand fictional narratives to the simple actions or maybe disappearances of our pets.
Totally.
It just shows how we project meaning and personality onto them.
The reality, though, was a bit sadder. It jumped out of the bowl one day and it was too late.
Okay, less heroic, more tragic.
So the follow-up act. A turtle named Speedy.
Speedy the Turtle, love it.
Explicitly chosen because it's less jumpy.
That's a poignant little sequence, actually. The genuine sadness of losing a pet, even unexpectedly, followed by the very pragmatic decision to get a different kind of animal known for its
Well-groundedness.
definitely grounded.
And naming it Speedy is just classic ironic pet naming, adds that touch of humor. And suggesting pets meet, maybe Speedy can meet my hamster Fluffy, shows how pets become part of our social introductions, don't they?
Yeah, like play dates for pets. We also hear about Mike, who's looking for a dog. This is surprising because someone thought he was more of a cat person. See, our perceptions of others aren't always spot on. People's preferences, especially for pets, can change or just be more nuanced than we assume.
But no, he loves dogs, wants to adopt one soon.
That intention to adopt one soon signals a serious commitment. Getting a dog is a big step.
And then the suggestions for names? Oh boy. Sir barks a lot.
Chuckles.
Lady sniffs a lot.
Those names. They perfectly capture that silly, affectionate humor that pet owners often have, right? Leaning right into the animal's stereotypical behaviors. It humanizes the pets and adds this layer of playful identity.
Sir barks a lot. It's growing on me. Okay, from silly pet names to major social gatherings. Festivals and parties feature prominently.
The big social events.
Preparing for Halloween, involving special makeup and cosplay.
Festivals like Halloween provide these great opportunities for creative expression, for transformation. The costumes, the makeup, it lets people play with identity and engage in this kind of shared theatricality.
Planning a birthday party involves more practicalities, inviting 10 people, needing snacks and candy, plus fruit like watermelon because it's summer. They're heading to a grocery store near here for supplies.
This just details the behind-the-scenes logistics of hosting, doesn't it? It's not just the party itself, but the planning, the sourcing, balancing different needs enough for the guests, some treats, some healthier options, and the actual errand run.
Then there's a more spontaneous-sounding barbecue after work at a barbecue restaurant. The crucial question: is this the two of us? Is anyone else planning to join us?
Thicken the scope.
And the inclusive response. I think the more of the merrier. Even suggests asking other friends, maybe someone they haven't seen for years.
This shows that flexible, often open-ended nature of social plans among friends. That enthusiasm for inviting more people really highlights the value placed on shared experiences and just reconnecting.
We also get a glimpse of a party that sounds truly memorable. This is the biggest party I've ever been to.
Okay, setting the bar high.
Featuring a giant cake, specifically a blue cake, and a dance floor.
That image of the giant blue cake immediately sticks with you, doesn't it? It signifies this deliberate effort to create something spectacular, visually impressive.
It's definitely memorable.
And the dance floor means music, energy, that collective participation in the celebration. These are the sensory details that make a party feel, well, epic.
And looking ahead to New Year celebrations, planning a party involves buying decorations or maybe going DIY style, suggesting a crafting session.
Getting creative.
The theme is new beginnings, aiming for an epic night with, importantly, silly hats.
New Year's really blends that reflection and anticipation, doesn't it? The planning elements, decorations, theme, crafts are all about intentionally creating a festive atmosphere that embodies hope for the future. New beginnings. And the silly hats ensure there's that crucial element of unpretentious fun and shared ridiculousness. Gotta have the silly hats.
Absolutely. The accompanying fireworks are described as spectacular, a real light show, noting specific colors like the big red one and green ones, and how well coordinated they were.
Fireworks provide that collective sensory climax to a big celebration. The description focusing on the visual impact and the skill involved, well coordinated, highlights the shared experience of watching this display as a community or a group.
Wow, okay. From awkward cooking attempts and superhero goldfish to giant blue cakes and coordinated fireworks, hobbies, parties, and pet stories really showcase the diverse ways people find joy and build connections.
They absolutely do. They represent those aspects of life where effort is often directed towards creating positive experiences, whether just for yourself or shared with others. It's where creativity, community, and simple pleasure all intersect.
Let's transition now to the idea of stepping outside your usual routine, maybe your comfort zone. We hear about trying new experiences, specifically sushi.
Sushi, a common hurdle for some.
Someone is asked if they've tried it, and the reaction is hesitant. Raw fish sounds scary.
That initial apprehension is completely understandable, isn't it? Trying new foods, especially ones that challenge your cultural norms, like eating raw fish, often requires overcoming some ingrained hesitations, maybe even mild disgust for some.
But the encouragement follows. New experiences are the best, and an invitation to give it a try. They start with a California roll.
Sorry, move.
Because it's not too fishy. And the verdict, actually, it's pretty good.
This sequence perfectly demonstrates how small steps and a bit of guidance can help overcome that apprehension. Starting with a less intimidating option, like the California roll, which often doesn't even have raw fish.
Right.
It lowers the barrier to entry. And the positive outcome reinforces the value of being a bit adventurous. It turns potential fear into a positive discovery. Success.
Another experience mentioned is rock climbing. The initial reaction sounds intense.
Yeah, you can see why. It acknowledges the perceived physical and maybe psychological challenge of basically climbing up a wall.
But it's quickly reassured, safe and exciting.
That balances the perceived difficulty with the promise of reward, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It reframes the activity from just being hard work to being a thrilling experience within a controlled environment. Emphasizes the excitement alongside the safety.
And importantly, someone says, thanks for pushing me out of my comfort zone.
That phrase captures the essence of this kind of growth perfectly. Trying new things often does require external encouragement, or maybe a shared challenge.
True.
It highlights the role other people play in helping us push our boundaries and achieve these little personal milestones, turning potential fear into accomplishment and, well, gratitude.
Speaking of pushing boundaries and navigating life, let's explore the core of human interaction. Relationships and social dynamics. We see so many facets of connection here.
The human element.
Friends, for example. Someone deeply misses their best friend. She moved to another city. They do video calling, but it's not the same.
That's such a modern challenge to enduring friendships, isn't it?
Yeah.
Technology provides a link, the video calling, but it just can't fully replicate the ease, the spontaneity, the physical presence of being near your best friend. It highlights that irreplaceable value of just being there in close relationships.
They look for distractions like a pizza challenge to cope with missing their friend.
Which is a small detail, but it reveals resilience, doesn't it? And the ways people adapt to maintain connection across distance, even indirectly. Finding shared activities or challenges, even just talking about them, helps bridge that physical gap and keep a sense of shared experience alive.
And there's this wonderful expression of affection. I love my friends even when they make pancake cakes.
That just encapsulates the nature of true friendship, doesn't it? Accepting and loving people for who they are, quirks and all.
Totally.
Making a pancake cake or Lisa turning her room into a modern art masterpiece. These are specific, endearing examples of those individual eccentricities that make friends unique and make life interesting.
Friends also plan practical things together, like a camping trip or just playing board games.
Shared activities, whether they're adventurous like camping or simple like board games, they're really the bedrock of friendship. They create shared memories, provide opportunities for interaction, and strengthen bonds through that collective experience.
We also glimpse the formation of new connections. Someone has a new neighbor, a girl, she's the same age as me.
Okay, potential new friend alert.
She's described as friendly, actively greeted them, and invited them to her housewarming party, and is also described as pretty.
This outlines that classic trajectory of forming new social ties in a neighborhood, right? A friendly overture, a welcoming gesture like the party invitation, and shared demographics like being the same age, key ingredients for potential friendship. And the mention of physical attractiveness, well, that adds a layer of personal observation, which is pretty common when describing someone new you've just met.
And then there's the truly unique character entering the scene, the new guy at work.
Oh, this one sounds interesting.
Described as quite interesting. Apparently, he used to be a circus performer.
Okay, wow. That immediately tells you this isn't going to be your typical colleague interaction. A background like that suggests a whole different life experience, probably different personality than your standard office worker.
It explains so much, like the juggling at lunch.
Juggling at lunch, of course.
And his fashion sense is out of this world. Sparkly shoes and hat, a colorful tie, described as a statement of fashion bravery.
These details paint such a vivid, immediate picture of someone who brings this totally unconventional energy to a typically structured environment. His willingness to just, juggle or wear flamboyant clothes in the office challenges norms and injects this element of surprise and liveliness.
He brings a lot of energy, makes the office more lively, like a burst of color. His stories, like one about the lion, keep people on the edge of their seat.
This really demonstrates the impact a single individual with a distinct personality and background can have on a group dynamic, especially in a workplace.
Hmm.
He's not just an employee, he sounds like a source of entertainment, different perspectives, positive energy. And crucially, everyone seems to like him. His uniqueness is actually a positive force.
He definitely sounds like he makes the workday more interesting. Okay, moving to family relationships. We hear about a brother late for dinner again.
Oh.
Because he's always playing basketball. Someone knows exactly where to find him. If you go there, you will find him.
This speaks volumes about the deep familiarity and predictable patterns within families, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That mild exasperation late for dinner again is layered with this underlying acceptance and knowledge of a loved one's habits.
Totally know where you'll be.
Yeah, family members know each other's routines inside and out, often with enduring patience.
And then there's a sister who locked herself out again, needing someone to go help because she needs to make a copy of her key.
Another recurring family scenario. It illustrates reliance and mutual support. It implies this repeated pattern of behavior that requires intervention from family members, highlighting the safety net and, well, the obligation that family ties often entail,
Yeah.
even for simple things like a forgotten key.
There are brief mentions, too, of practical family support, like a dad's gift for me being a computer.
Nice gift.
And the mom's gardening hobby we touched on earlier, which could also be a shared activity or interest within the family.
These small details just underscore the varied ways families function, providing practical support like the computer, sharing interests like gardening, and just navigating predictable behaviors like the late brother or the locked-out sister. They show that blend of individual pursuits and interconnected lives within a family unit.
Now, romantic relationships. We've already covered the gift-giving side. But then there's the story of Sarah and Tom's date night attempt. Tom tried to impress her by cooking dinner.
Ah, the high-stakes romantic gesture. Putting your skills, or lack thereof, on display.
And it went spectacularly wrong. He accidentally set the table on fire. The kitchen was a mess.
Oh no, table on fire, that's next level. That's where intention meets catastrophic execution. It turns a romantic gesture into a moment of just sheer, unexpected disaster. The scale of the failure is almost comical.
Poor Tom was so embarrassed. And Sarah's reaction, initial reaction anyway, she had nothing else to say to him.
That speechless moment is incredibly relatable, isn't it? The sheer awkwardness when a situation just devolves past the point of polite conversation. What do you say when the table's literally on fire?
Exactly. But here's where the story gets interesting. They decided to salvage the night by going out for ice cream.
Okay, good recovery plan.
And it's pretty good. They laughed about the whole night. And get this, they're going out again.
Wow. That pivots the narrative dramatically, doesn't it? It suggests that navigating a shared disaster, especially with humor, can sometimes be a stronger foundation for connection than a flawless, maybe even sterile evening.
Interesting point.
Laughing together about the absurdity can create this sense of shared vulnerability, authenticity. As the source notes, love can start in the strangest ways, sometimes literally out of the ashes of a burned table. It suggests resilience and the ability to find connection beyond planned perfection.
We also hear about someone who's struggling to move on after a breakup. She still loves him, even though they broke up last month.
Oh, that's tough.
She watches all his social media stories and still keeps his pictures.
This is such a raw, honest glimpse into the difficulty of navigating the end of a romantic relationship. Those behaviors are classic signs of lingering attachment and difficulty letting go, aren't they? The digital lingering, keeping the physical remnants of the past. It highlights the emotional pain that continues long after the former relationship ends.
And their friends are brainstorming ways to potentially reunite them, like a surprise reunion or maybe a secret admirer letter.
Which, while maybe a bit idealistic or even dramatic,
yeah, a bit much, maybe,
it shows the supportive role friends play in navigating these romantic complexities and heartaches. They're invested in their friends' happiness and are willing to entertain various ideas, however far-fetched, to try and alleviate their pain or maybe facilitate reconciliation.
So relationships, whether they're old or new, friend or family or romantic, they're clearly central to these conversations. They bring support, shared experiences, laughter, challenges, and, yeah, sometimes accidental fires.
They really are the fundamental context for so much of our daily experience, aren't they? They provide the emotional landscape against which our actions and interactions play out. These snippets show the messy, the funny, and the deeply human aspects of connecting with others.
Let's turn now to the moments where things get difficult, where challenges arise, and the efforts people make to learn and grow. challenges and growth.
Right, the tough stuff and how people deal.
First, the familiar pressures of work and school. Someone is totally overwhelmed saying, I've got too much work to do and needs to finish it all by Monday. Deadline pressure.
Oh, yeah, the universal stressor of deadlines and workload management.
Yeah.
And that immediate, slightly desperate internal response, invent a time machine,
We've all been there.
quickly gives way to more practical problem solving.
The suggested solutions involve getting help,
Huh.
asking for an extension, and working in pairs, turning a house into a homework fortress.
This shows that when faced with overwhelming tasks, collaboration and seeking external support are really common coping mechanisms, and framing it as a homework fortress adds that touch of levity to a stressful situation, makes the collective effort seem like a unified defense against the deadline monster.
Academic anxiety pops up again with a big math test tomorrow. Someone is beyond worried because they forgot to study.
Oof. That sudden realization of being unprepared for an exam, that's a common source of panic, isn't it? That moment the deadline hits and you realize you haven't done the work.
The immediate solution, study together after school, form a study group.
Again, collaboration is the go-to strategy for academic crisis. A study group pools resources, provides mutual support.
But the dark humor follows, wondering if they'll trigger an accidentally start a math revolution or just become famous for failing.
The humor here serves to diffuse the anxiety, right? Acknowledging the high stakes, pass this test first, while poking fun at the potential outcomes, both wildly successful and spectacularly disastrous.
Shifting to professional challenges, someone is having trouble with a partner on a new contract, noting that the contract is very important and that, well, often difficulties in business just arise.
This moves the theme of difficulty into the professional realm. Business relationships, just like personal ones, can be fraught with conflict or disagreement. It highlights that challenges aren't confined to school or personal life. They're inherent in professional ventures too, especially when important agreements are at stake.
These examples really show that stress and difficulty are just pervasive, but the human response often involves seeking collaboration, finding creative coping strategies, and acknowledging the problem, right?
Absolutely. They highlight the need for resilience, problem-solving skills, and that willingness to lean on others when faced with pressure, whether it's academic deadlines or tricky business negotiations.
Beyond tackling immediate problems, there's that desire for continuous self-improvement. Someone wants to learn a second language, Korean specifically,
Oh, interesting.
driven by the goal to watch movies without subtitles.
Now that is a very specific, relatable motivation for language learning, isn't it? Accessing cultural content in its original form.
Mhm.
It shows how hobbies and personal interests can really drive these ambitious learning goals.
There's an acknowledgement, though, that it will take you a lot of time to be master.
Realistic expectations.
But the commitment is there. I will give it a try.
And that demonstrates a realistic understanding of the effort required, paired with determination. That willingness to give it a try, despite knowing the huge time investment, that's the crucial first step in pursuing a long-term learning goal like that.
Someone else wants to learn more about money management skills, calling it a practical skill.
Definitely practical.
They plan to use online courses or go to some workshops and believe learning this will make them more confident.
This reflects that growing recognition of the importance of financial literacy as a key life skill. It's seen as something you proactively acquire through resources like courses and workshops.
Mm-hmm.
And the payoff isn't just practical, like managing money better. It's personal. It leads to increased confidence and a feeling of more control over your life.
Learning isn't always seen as easy or fun, though. Someone finds some laws very interesting, but others quite strict and hard to remember.
Yeah, the challenging side of learning.
Still, learning laws can help you a lot in daily life.
This captures that dual nature of learning complex subjects. Some parts grab your interest, others are just challenging, like being hard to remember. The motivation is often that mix of curiosity and practicality can help you a lot in daily life. It acknowledges that some valuable knowledge just requires effort and discipline, even if it's not always enjoyable.
A really significant step in personal growth mentioned is wanting to study abroad at the university level in England, specifically boarding school.
Wow, big step.
The perceived outcome, becoming more independent and confident.
This is framed as a genuinely transformative experience, isn't it? Combining advanced education with immersion in a completely new environment. It's a deliberate choice to step far outside your comfort zone with the explicit goal of fostering independence and building confidence,
Right.
even while acknowledging the nervousness, I'm quite nervous, and the potential difficulty will be a bit difficult at first. That's brave.
And back in a more typical school context, students ask the age-old question, why do we have so many exercises?
Chuckles. Every student, ever.
And the teacher's classic response, it's a good way for you to revise and prepare for the tests with an offer of help if they can't understand some of them.
This dialogue just captures that fundamental dynamic between teacher and student regarding practice and assessment. Exercises aren't arbitrary tasks. They're tools for reinforcement, for preparation. And the offer of help underscores the support system that's usually available to help navigate those academic challenges.
These examples of learning and striving really showcase a continuous process, don't they? Acquiring knowledge and skills throughout life, driven by curiosity, practical need, or just the desire for personal transformation.
They illustrate that human drive to improve, to overcome ignorance or lack of skill, and the recognition that growth often involves effort, sometimes frustration, but ultimately leads to increased capability and confidence.
Let's also touch on health, which surfaces in these conversations often unexpectedly, just like it does in daily life.
Yeah, health concerns pop up.
Someone is buying drugs because they have some health problems, specifically a stomach ache. They receive the classic simple advice, you should take care of yourself.
It reminds us that health is just this ever-present fundamental concern, even when it's just a common ailment like a stomach ache. And it prompts that basic advice about self-care, highlighting its importance even in simple interactions.
They mentioned visiting the doctor who gave me a lot of drugs. It's noted that stomach pain is a common ailment, but crucially, don't take it lightly. And factors like being stressed or staying up all night make it worse.
This adds layers of insight, doesn't it? It validates seeking professional help even for common issues. But more importantly, it connects physical symptoms like stomach pain directly to lifestyle factors, stress, lack of sleep. It emphasizes the holistic nature of health, how our emotional state and habits directly impact our physical well-being.
Beyond personal health, there are broader challenges impacting well-being. Someone is worried about water pollution
A big issue.
and the resulting lack clean water. They see how life is greatly affected for people who lack safe drinking water, citing causes like factory discharges waste and pesticides. They express a heartfelt wish that the situation could be better.
This expands the idea of challenge from the purely personal to the environmental and societal.
Yeah.
It shows how these external large-scale issues like pollution have direct detrimental impacts on individual lives and whole communities. It reflects a sense of concern, maybe responsibility, and a desire for systemic improvement beyond just personal action.
Weather is another external factor impacting health. Someone feels sick these days due to unpleasant weather,
Ah, the weather woes.
describing it as so cold that I caught the flu and I have a cough. They know they are very sensitive to weather changes, and their mom usually feels sick too.
This highlights the direct, often unavoidable influence of the environment on our physical state. For some people, weather sensitivity is a persistent challenge, leading to recurring illnesses like colds or the flu. It shows how our physical vulnerability is sometimes tied directly to natural elements, and it can even be shared within families. My mom also usually feels sick. The fact that it makes me quite tired and lazy, but we have to go to work, just underscores the reality of having to push through physical discomfort caused by these external factors. Life goes on.
These snippets about health and external challenges really show the vulnerability inherent in daily life, don't they? Whether it's from personal ailments, environmental issues, or just the simple impact of the weather.
And they prompt responses, ranging from seeking professional help and focusing on self-care to expressing broader concern and wishing for systemic change. They remind us that our well-being is affected by so many factors, both internal and external.
Despite these challenges, people show a remarkable capacity for adaptation when things don't go as planned. Like, for example, it's raining right now, canceling plans to go for a run.
Ah, the weather often has the final say in outdoor plans, doesn't it? A simple but super frequent disruption to routine or intention.
The reaction, seems like the rain has other plans for you. And that relatable lament. So typical every time I decide to exercise.
That captures the common, slightly exasperated humor when external factors derail a plan you were perhaps already procrastinating on. It feels almost personal, like the universe is conspiring against your good intentions.
Totally. The alternatives suggested are Relax today, maybe buy a treadmill,
Practical solution.
or play a board game.
Yeah.
And the twist, a bet on the board game. The loser, cooking dinner.
C. Adaptation turning into opportunity and fun. The canceled run isn't just a loss. It becomes a chance for leisure. Relax today. Maybe a practical purchase, treadmill, or a new form of engagement, the board game.
Right.
And turning the outcome of the game into a chore assignment adds that layer of lighthearted competition and domestic bargaining. The possibility of a candlelit dinner if the power goes out adds another layer of spontaneous charm to the weather disruption, making the best of it.
Another moment of adapting involves picking gear for a hike. Someone notes, this jacket is a little too thick, too heavy, they'll be sweating.
A practical assessment of gear suitability based on the activity and conditions. Comfort is key if you want to enjoy a hike.
They look for something lighter, but one option is too bright, described as like a walking beacon,
Don't want to be a beacon.
while a gray one is deemed perfect.
This shows that decision-making, balancing functionality weight, breathability with practical considerations like visibility, or not wanting too much visibility, or simply aesthetic preference. It's a small but specific moment of adapting your choices based on the demands of the activity and your personal taste.
These snippets really show that flexibility and resourcefulness are just essential skills for navigating the unpredictable nature of life, turning potential frustrations into alternative plans, often with a dose of humor or just pragmatic adjustment.
Adaptation isn't always dramatic, is it? Sometimes it's just picking the right jacket or deciding to play chess instead of soccer, but it's constant. We're always adjusting.
Finally, let's look at what drives people forward their personal goals and ambitions.
What they're aiming for.
Some are focused on the immediate, wanting to earn money as much as I can, not necessarily out of dire need, but as motivation.
This highlights a really common short-term driver in the working world. Earning money isn't always just about covering costs. It can be a measure of success, a form of scorekeeping, or, a necessary motivation in itself. It represents a focus on tangible, quantifiable progress.
Another goal is professional development, to gain experience while working, specifically in accounting, emphasizing that practical experience is always important, even more than theory.
This shows a different kind of ambition, doesn't it? Focused on building expertise and capability within a specific field. It values hands-on learning over purely theoretical knowledge, reflecting a pragmatic approach to career growth.
And then there are aspirations for personal enrichment and adventure, like planning to travel more in the new year.
The travel bug.
Destinations mentioned include New York City, seeing landmarks like the Statue of Liberty, a Florida beach to try surfing, and a California road trip.
Travel as a goal represents that desire for exploration, for new experiences, for leisure. These specific destinations and activities, landmarks, surfing, road trips, reveal such diverse motivations for travel. Cultural sightseeing, physical activity, scenic journeys.
Yeah.
It's about accumulating experiences rather than just wealth or skills.
These glimpses into personal goals really show the varied ambitions that motivate people, whether they're focused on financial security, professional mastery, or personal adventure and exploration.
They represent that forward-looking aspect of the human experience, don't they? The drive to achieve something beyond the present moment, pushing individuals towards future states of being or accomplishment.
Bringing it all together, these conversations also root us in specific places and cultures. Where we are, where we come from, and where we dream of going all seem to shape our experiences.
Definitely. Location matters.
Landmarks, for instance, feature prominently, especially New York City's,
Right.
The Empire State Building, Central Park, the National 9/11 Memorial and Museum, and the Statue of Liberty.
Landmarks are more than just structures or places on a map, aren't they? They're loaded with cultural meaning, history, identity. Visiting the Statue of Liberty evokes feelings of pride, very proud of this landmark, acknowledging its global significance, New York symbol known all over the world. They connect individuals to these larger collective narratives.
The sheer scale of places is also noted, like the One World Trade Center being a very tall building, a skyscraper at 1,776 feet.
This speaks to that human response to impressive architecture and engineering. It's about recognizing and being awed by the physical manifestations of human achievement, placing ourselves in relation to that monumental scale.
People also talk about their connection to hometowns. Someone's hometown is in California, near Disneyland.
Well, lucky them.
They plan to visit my hometown this holiday and take a tour.
Hometowns are so fundamental to our identity and sense of belonging, aren't they? Revisiting and exploring your hometown is about connecting with personal history, with your roots, and the specific geography that shaped your early experiences.
Travel experiences, past and future, are powerful motivators too. Someone went to Hawaii for 7 days, finding it scenic, loving everything there,
That's idyllic.
trying the local cuisine, swimming in fresh and clean water, and walking along the beach to see the sunset, calling it so romantic.
This captures the multifaceted appeal of travel so well. Sensory enjoyment, scenic views, clean water, beautiful sunset, cultural immersion, trying local food, physical activity, swimming, walking, and seeking relaxation and maybe romance. It's about escaping routine and engaging with a new environment on multiple levels.
Future travel aspirations include a beach vacation or maybe a cooking class in Italy.
These specific future plans show how travel goals can be diverse, right? But focusing on pure relaxation versus combining travel with learning a skill or deep cultural immersion. They represent these destinations of longing and future experiences people are actively planning for.
Beyond grand trips and landmarks, the practical geography of daily life is constantly navigated. Finding a specific hotel, the Moonlight Hotel, noting it's a 3-star hotel on King Street, but recognizing it's quite far away and will require taking a taxi.
This highlights the constant spatial reasoning required in urban environments. Using landmarks, street names to locate places, assessing distance, figuring out the best mode of transport. It's functional geography in action every day.
Or locating a grocery store near here, or a specific coffee shop, the Soon Coffee on Washington Street at address 105 Block C, next to the Sky Movie Theater.
These everyday conversations are just full of precise geographical markers, street names, addresses, nearby businesses used to guide actions and facilitate meetings. They show how our social and logistical lives are anchored in specific physical locations and require this constant spatial awareness.
Sometimes navigating new places involves encountering cultural differences, leading to culture shock. Someone felt confused in England because everyone goes to left while at home, we always go to the right.
That's a fascinating example of how deeply ingrained cultural norms can be, even in something as simple as which side you walk on. Culture shock isn't always about huge differences. It can be these small, seemingly illogical variations that disrupt our automatic behaviors and really highlight the arbitrary nature of some social conventions.
Definitely throws you off.
But the ability to adapt all of these things shows that flexibility again.
Finally, how do people connect with the world and get information? The source mentions electronic media for news, listing computers, television, radio, but confirming the most popular one is the smartphone.
This provides context on modern information consumption, doesn't it? It acknowledges the evolution of media from traditional forms to digital ones, highlighting the smartphone as the current dominant platform for accessing news, connecting to global events. It shows how technology mediates our understanding of the world around us now.
These snippets about places, travel, navigation, and culture really show how location isn't just a backdrop, is it? It's an active element in our experiences, shaping our interactions, prompting adaptation, and influencing how we connect with the world.
Absolutely. Places are tied to identity, aspirations, daily routines, cultural understanding. They are fundamental to the narratives we build about our lives and the world we inhabit.
Wow. Okay. Looking back at this deep dive into all these everyday conversations, it's really remarkable how much is contained in these seemingly small exchanges.
It really is.
They cover such a vast range of human experience, from the utterly routine to the deeply personal, the frustrating and the joyous, the challenging and the aspirational. It's all in there.
They reveal that while the details are specific to individuals, Mary's cooking, Mike's dog search, Sarah and Tom's disastrous date, the underlying themes are universal. We're all navigating errands, seeking connection, dealing with challenges, pursuing growth, and finding joy in hobbies, pets, parties. It's the human condition in miniature.
And they remind us that even the quickest chat, the most mundane observation, can contain these insights into what truly matters to people, what they struggle with, and what makes them laugh.
It's easy to overlook these moments, isn't it? But when you listen closely, you see the patterns of resilience, adaptation, aspiration, and that constant human need for connection just woven throughout the fabric of daily talk.
So here's something to consider maybe. After hearing all these snippets and the themes they reveal, think about your own recent conversations. That chat you had with a colleague, a friend, a family member. Was there a moment, a detail, maybe a frustration or a joy shared that if someone else were listening in might reveal something interesting, surprising, or perhaps even universal about your life right now?
It's a good question. The depth isn't always in the grand pronouncements, is it? Often, the richest insights are hidden in plain sight, within the simple, everyday exchanges we have constantly. Pay attention to those small moments of conversation. They might hold more meaning than you think.
Take a moment to notice the details and richness in your own daily interactions and the world around you. You might just discover your own personal deep dive.